It's Weekend Arrest Update with Sheriff Wayne Ivey and Corporal Jay Martinez. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Hello everyone, I'm Jay from the Sheriff's Office and welcome to another great episode of Weekend Arrest Update. To get us started, here is Sheriff Wayne Ivey.
All right, thanks Jay. Always great to be on another episode of Weekend Arrest Update. This past weekend, Lester Rutland decided it was a great idea to act like a middle schooler and pull the fire alarm in one of our cruise terminals at Port Canaveral. Rutland's actions of pulling the fire alarm caused the Cape Canaveral Fire Department to respond to the area, as well as delayed the ship and hundreds of passengers from being able to depart on their trip until all conditions could be verified safe. Rutland was apparently upset about not being allowed to carry some type of contraband on board one of the cruise ships, so he decided to throw a pity party by pulling the fire alarm in the terminal. Of course, he also showed everyone what an ass clown he is, as the cruise terminal has more cameras than Kodak and Nikon combined, so our deputies got a great video of Rutland, who has an Ohio driver's license by the way, pulling the fire alarm and then walking onto the cruise ship like nothing happened. Well, thanks to Deputy Kyle Brewer, Mr. Rutland didn't get to go on the cruise on the Love Boat, but instead got arrested and taken to Ivey's Iron Bar Lodge, where he'll get to do all the cruising he wants in his spacious new accommodations that really aren't that spacious or accommodating for that matter. Rutland was charged with activating a false fire alarm and has quickly learned that when you do dumb things in Brevard County while on vacation, you leave this place on probation.
Leave on probation.
Leave on probation, baby.
Amy Stedman was on the nod when she was observed by Deputy Bradley Hackett behind the wheel of her car in Mims. Stedman was in the driver's seat of her car with the keys by her leg and also a rolled up bill underneath her wrist while she appeared to be dozing in the car, or on the nod, which is a clue in this business. As deputies knocked on the doors and windows of the car, they were able to finally awaken Stedman, who immediately attempted to unroll the bill in her hand, at which time a powdery substance fell out of the bill and onto a folder Stedman was holding. Well, it goes without saying that the bill field tested positive for fentanyl, and just so her going to jail was not left a chance, Stedman also had some cocaine in a baggie, and even better, inside her right front pocket was approximately 18 pieces of Xanax. While at the scene, deputies observed that Stedman was excessively sweating and was extremely talkative as she complained about being extremely thirsty. Even better, or worse depending on how you look at it, Stedman had some white powder on her nostril. That's right, Stedman looked like the female version of Tony Montana, as she obviously was not in control of her faculties. Deputies asked her to perform a series of field sobriety tests, to which she refused, and in doing so qualified for a free ride on one of our courtesy shuttles to Ivey's Iron Bar Lodge, where she once again was observed being on the nod. Stedman was ultimately charged with possession of cocaine, possession of controlled substance without a prescription, possession of drug paraphernalia, and of course, DUI.
Now it's time for Weekend Berry Arrest Update.
Man, what the hell is in those berries?
Stop picking those damn berries.
What is in those berries?
Ooh, I was on the nod. All right, this past weekend, deputies arrested Johnny Lee for harvesting palmetto berries without permission. I don't get it, I just don't. The arrest occurred after Deputy Andrew Youssef responded to a suspicious vehicle near the tree line in the area of I-95 and mile marker 218 near Titusville. Upon arrival, the owner of the vehicle was taken into custody as it was obvious he was illegally picking palmetto berries, which, by the way, is a felony here in the state of Florida. As the owner of the vehicle was being addressed, Johnny Lee emerged from the woods. That's right, the teleprompter actually says emerged. I guess it makes it sound more sinister. Yeah. Well, at any rate, old Johnny Lee was also taken into custody as he was found to have two 55-gallon buckets that were filled with these berries that for whatever reason, they just love to illegally pick. After the property owner was contacted and wished to press charges, Johnny Lee was transported to the Brevard County Jail where he was held on a $2,500 bond for harvesting palmetto berries without permission. His co-defendant is not currently named as he has not been booked into jail yet because while at the scene of the crime, he was bitten by a bug that caused a reaction requiring him to be hospitalized. Experts believe the insect to be a rare species that is only known to the region of the planet near mile marker 218 and I-95 near Titusville. We have zero clue what this rare species looks like. However, our agency entomologist recommends that if you see it, you run like hell.
They say that nothing is worse than having a bad neighbor, but Richard Edwards is clearly an overachiever, as he decided to take being a bad neighbor to a whole new level by pointing his gun at his neighbor. The incident occurred as Edwards and his neighbor were engaged in a verbal argument over a wall that separates their homes. While the wall was apparently constructed to keep one neighbor off the other one's land, that sounds familiar, it didn't keep Edwards from reaching over it and pointing a handgun at the neighbor. It also didn't keep the neighbor's video camera from capturing the entire event, which made it really easy for deputies when they arrived on scene and took Edwards to jail on a no-bond status for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Edwards was greeted by our very accommodating registration team at the booking desk, who made sure he got a room with a view of all the 4 walls at the Brevard County Jail, and also a souvenir t-shirt that said, "I messed around and found out in Brevard County" on the front, and on the back, "Doesn't play well with others."
You know, I've actually been thinking about building a wall between Brevard and Orange County to keep our crime rate down.
That's not a bad idea.
All right, folks, that's a wrap here on Weekend Arrest Update. A huge thank you to our community for how much they support and love our agency and all of our teams. And as always,
Stay classy, Brevard.